Hey guys, Palsteron here, and today let's talk about the Cyclone Acceleration Shrine build I'm currently setting up. Now, after getting an Acceleration Shrine, I wanted to do something interesting with it, and there was a lot of options, right? Like Spark, it's good in every build, don't get me wrong, but there's like Spark, Tornado Shot. I wanted to find something where it's like build enabling, and yeah, I came onto this. So if you've never played with these boots before, and what they're used for, they give you a movement speed base value that is higher than 100%. So 100% is usually your base. And then let's say you get a node right here that says 3% increased. That gets your base from 100 to 103 and so on, right? That's how it works. But Stampede gives you a chunk more, especially with the volatile Val Orb, which can now get it to up to 183. The baseline usually is 150. You can get it higher on if you corrupt them. And what that means is you're capped at 82% increased movement speed, but you don't have to get it. You just get it, which is not great, right? Like you get a Quicksilver with a Mage Blood and a Silver Flask, a little bit of movement speed here or there, some tattoos, and you're at 300% movement speed. So why would this actually matter? Well, it matters for one skill and one skill only, and that is Cyclone of Tumult. This skill is actually incredibly strong, but it has the downside of 50% less movement speed. So let's say I unequip these boots. Let's see right here. I have no movement speed on this character whatsoever. But let's see what happens when I Cyclone. I get even slower, right? I go to half my speed. I put on the boots and now I'm a little bit faster, okay? But while I'm Cycloning, I'm exactly as fast because I don't get the less multi at all. Because my movement speed is fixed, it cannot be changed whatsoever, even by the stages gained from this gem. Here it is all written down again. Fixes your movement speed, example 180%, whatever roll you get, right? Cyclone of Tumult can't reduce your movement speed, which it usually would. Now, before this patch, that was pretty meh still, right? Like some people did it, but I mean, that's not a fast Cyclone, right? You would still have to frost blink around. It's definitely not impressive. Enter Acceleration Shrine. So let's say 180 and then times 140% increased, so times 2.4, you get 432 move speed, which is akin to 332 increased movement speed. And that is what you see right here. That is the difference between this and this. And the good thing is also you don't have to get any movement speed whatsoever from any sources. It actually wouldn't do anything. That's not it though, because the action speed also gives you 140% more attack speed. So what you see right here is a very erratic Cyclone. Usually if you increase attack speed, you don't really see it. But with action speed, it's just everything. It's literally everything. It is down to your stun animation. Everything you do is faster. And the crazy thing about this movement speed, and I'm currently sitting at, with my current version, this is not finished yet, but I'm sitting at 338% increased movement speed. This very much depends on what your rolls are on the volatile Val Orbs that you hit. I have a 91, 92 is max. Same on the goal, I have a 91, and 183 is the max on the Stampede. And I want to remind you that this is in your hideout. This is not, you don't have elusive on crit, tailwind on crit, on kill. It's just always up, other than in town where your shrine falls off. Okay, now you might be thinking, well, pal, you have your movement speed figured out. That's nice and all, but Cyclone also needs some damage. Now, Cyclone of Tumult is high damage. Like, it's a lot more damage than normal Cyclone. It's around about 50% more damage. So just being able to use it over the normal version is already big, but it also gets 0.1 meters to radius per stage. And I'm currently sitting at 5.9 meter radius, and that is without my gloves. I was doing some memes with Empire's Grasp. Don't even ask. I'm probably going to get to round about 6.3, 6.4 meter radius. And this is what that looks like on 5.9 meters. So if I got over 6 meters, it would also be screen wide on the top of the screen. It's a little bit easier to see here because my hideout is actually zoomed out. So you can see it right here. And I also have a little bit from Slayer on kill. On top of that, just to show you, I have a Herald of Ash. Now, truth be told, this is mostly against stragglers. I think there was a breach down there, whatever. This is mostly against stragglers and everything. But the Herald of Ash also works. So if I activate it, you can see it's obviously really nice on the eyes with the extra explosions, right? It clears up some stragglers along the way, and it also scales really well with your extra AoE. And just to show you the difference between both damage and AoE between normal Cyclone and Cyclone of Tumult, if you can completely eradicate Cyclone of Tumult downside, Right here, you can see normal Cyclone, 4.8 meters, and like, I mean, these are still getting worked out, but let's say 100 million damage. And here you go up by 50% more damage, and your AoE goes from 4.8 to 5.9. All right, so now you're gonna say, well, pal, but you've now put your build full with unique items that you can't scale, right? Like you have boots, so you can't go strength stacking. Your belt is gone. Sure, it gives you a lot of extra damage. You get 140% more attack speed, but where's the kicker? You don't have your body armor, so you can definitely not go strength stacking, and your helmet is gone. What's up? Well, wait, I told you, we're a volatile Val Orb build. Every single item we have is getting better this patch because of this orb existing, and that also goes for Voidforge, which you can get up to over 900% of weapon physical damage as extra damage of a random element, which is absolutely insane. This item has been one of the most underrated items. Usually the problem is you have to get flat phys somewhere. So for example, if I get flat physical damage from my reflected ring, 34 to 51, that gets multiplied by 10 by this weapon physical as extra. So basically, if you think about like 100 flat physical damage, instead of 100 flat physical, I'm now getting 922 as extra element. Now, you haven't heard the word stacking yet, and it's an endgame build, so obviously we're stacking something. In this case, that is life stacking, but a little bit different than other builds do. It's about bloodthirst. So whenever you're on low life, what happens is you get 2% of your maximum life as extra physical damage. So when I'm at level 100, I'm gonna have round about 10,000 life. So the math is pretty easy. I'm getting 200 flat physical damage, and that 200 flat physical damage will get multiplied by round about 9 and added as elemental damage from Voidforge. And since we're on low life, we're also going for the tried and true Petrified Blood plus Defiance of Destiny, basically making us immortal to any small or even medium-sized hits. So that's kind of what's going on. Now, another thing we're doing is actually use Supreme Ostentation right here to completely ignore attribute requirement, because as you can see, Blunderbore, otherwise getting to 741 strength is basically impossible, or would cost way too much in terms of opportunity cost. So we get to do that while we can also get endurance charges right here, and maybe, I don't know, Chaos Res, Life, whatever you want on this other spot right there. It also lets me use Eclipse, which at level 4, this is the new Empower. This is basically a accumulation of Empower, Enhance, and Enlighten, but it does cost a lot of attributes, and I can just put this in my aura setup now for free, quote unquote, with Supreme Ostentation. And while this doesn't sound great because it removes my bonuses from strength, which is life, right, which would be nice, overall, it's still too much opportunity cost to ever be able to get to the strength that Blunderbore needs. Unfortunately, otherwise it would be nice, but it does let us tattoo with whatever we want. We can get 5% increased damage per point, which actually does add up quite a bit, or fix our resistances that way. And on the dexterity, we get to get some extra accuracy, which we're desperately needing on the left side of the tree. Since we are Defiance of Destiny, avoidance is completely worthless because nothing can really touch us in medium and low size attacks. So we can also take Unwavering Stance, which you have to be stun immune kind of while you're cycloning, otherwise it feels terrible. Now, as for Ascendancy, it's a little bit complicated. So this patch, we got Imbues, which means that I can get a increased critical strike on my Cyclone of Tumult, which gives me base crit, which if you don't know, that's the biggest weakness of Voidforge. That's why a lot of people play Diamond Shrine with Voidforge, because it has 5 base crit. But Diamond Shrine means I can't use Acceleration Shrine because you can only have 1 offensive. So yeah, it's a no-go, right? Like this speed is just too good. That is literally the reason for me that I want to play this build. So I have to fix that in other ways. Now I'm getting free power charges from Dodra's Elixir because I can just press it whenever I want to, right? I press it and I lose a little bit of HP, but I get free charges. I can't really do anything else with my flasks anyways because I can't use utility flasks. And so my idea was, okay, we're going to go Slayer. The 5 base crit goes up to 8 with Overwhelm. We get Impact, which is ridiculous because every 0.1 meter of melee strike range gets converted to 15% AoE on a Cyclone of Tumult. So that gives you even more increased area of effect. And that's how we can actually reach those numbers. So Impact is incredible. Overwhelm is incredible. The last node is a little bit disappointing. We're already overleeching because I'm low life. So Brutal Fervor is not that great. And then Bane of Legends is just not that great either. It's like a little bit of extra damage. But currently I'm thinking about maybe going something else, maybe a Chieftain, but Slayer is just a nice package nonetheless. The last point, I would love to go Headsman, but getting a 3rd ring that I just unlocked is just too goddamn good on a life stacker because I could get another one of these rings with like a huge extra flat physical roll. Also, if you get a Mirrored channeling skills have -2 mana cost, that will make it a lot easier. Currently, I'm sitting at actually 0 mana cost on my Cyclone, so I can run no region maps. But yeah, if you're wondering why I'm taking these nodes, for example, all these 0.3 meter radius, this is 0.3 meter radius equals 45% increased AoE, 0.1 15% increased AoE. Same with the masteries right here, and same with Master of the Arena. That's how you get to these numbers, and that's what it is. Other than that, I will still do a lot of min-maxing here. I just put this on. I just got my ring slot. I still have my leveling gloves on, so I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to do with there. I can tell you one thing. I tried the Empire's Grasp. I know it's usually a meme. I thought that maybe with Brutal Shrine, the knockback would be annoying, but you don't notice it whatsoever. You're too fast. The knockback is almost not noticeable, so it's actually not needed. So that frees up the glove slot for some nice more AoE stacking, and I can probably get over 6 meters. Either way though, I just wanted to throw this out right here. If you're a Cyclone enthusiast and you have money for an acceleration shrine, then yeah, I would highly recommend giving this one a shot, or at least check it out over on twitch.tv/Palsteron. I'm going to be streaming it tomorrow again. We're going to craft the gloves, craft the last ring, do a little bit of pobbing to make this one extremely, extremely smooth. Right now I'm leveling. It is so comfy. I cannot tell you how comfy this build is. I have not played Cyclone for so long, and now I have an actual excuse to, and it actually looks good. So here we go. Pretty hype. But yeah, other than that, POB will not be down below yet because I'm still working on it. You can always import my character for people who are asking. My profile is open. Import it in POB. Whatever you need at any time. But yeah, other than that, you can also ask on stream. And yeah, since I still don't have a slogan, see you next time.